All right, now we loaded data in FAMOS. And as I said in the beginning, the first step now would be to view our data. To view data, I just select it from the variables list and open up a curve window, which is just a window that shows us the curve graphically. Now to explain or to show you all the properties of this curve window, I probably would need a few webinars. So let me focus on the main ones. Of course, you can zoom into your data here. If you hover the mouse over the axis, you can see those little shaders. There are 3 of them. The lower one here, if I click and drag, I can stretch the axis. With the middle one, I can shift the axis, and with this little circle, I can auto zoom. So all the data is fit to the current window. And this, of course, also works on all the other axes. I can also zoom in manually. If I go to the zoom feature and probably select such an area here, then I can zoom in. Now, when I'm zoomed into my big data, yeah, sometimes you have very large data sets from minutes to hours to days of data that you have imported. You usually need to zoom in quite a bit to see what's going on, but then you're probably losing track on where you are in your data set. For this, you can open up a quick view window by going to File, Overview window is the correct name. So you can open up an overview window, which is basically also a curve window, which has a few less information to it. So it shows the whole data set in auto zoom, and now we have those cursors in the overview window and also the main window, which tells me that those 2 windows are connected. And now I can see directly where I am in my curve window, and I can even use to navigate this, to navigate through my data set by just dragging the cursor and dragging it over time so I can scroll through my data set. This type of linking multiple windows together is a general functionality in FAMOS. So you can also link different windows together. With the overview window, it's just a specialized implementation. All right, now what else can we do? We can, of course, change the properties of our data sets. So if we open up the general properties of the curve window by going to the menu, configuration, and then here we can see a lot of topics. So all the properties are organized in topics in the curve window. Let's open up the lines topic for a second. Now in the lines topic, you can determine how the curve should be represented. If you want to have symbols, how thick, which color, which line style, and so on and so on. You can see we even have tabs with a lot more options to choose from. It would take just too much time to show you all of them. I just want to encourage you, if you already have FAMOS installed and you want to play around and you need a specific option, just go to the properties window and try to click through the options. I will guarantee you find what you're looking for. If not, you can always reach out to us, and we are very happy to help. All right, so much for the general settings of my curves, and we need to remember how to go to those properties of the curve window in a second. Okay, now we only have one data set in here, so let me resume for a second. But what if I wanted to have multiple data shown in this curve window? Well, I can simply use drag and drop to do that. So I will select another data set and drag it to the curve. It automatically pops up, and you can see it has its own axis. So I can move it independently from the first data set. Let's do that again. I drag another data set on it, but this time I drop it onto the x-axis. And like this, I can directly get a new coordinate system. So by dropping it onto a specific area, I can already determine the shape of my curve window. If I want to change this afterwards, or even manually, we can always do that. So let's remember how to go to the properties. We go to configuration, and now we open up the more channels property. And here on the left side, we can see the tree structure of this curve window. Let's go through that real quick. So we have one x-axis, which is the one on the bottom. We have a coordinate system, which is the first one. This coordinate system contains two y-axes, each with a dataset. So those are the two datasets in here with the two y-axes. And then we have another coordinate system with an axis and a dataset. This is the lower one. If I want to change anything in here, so for example, I do not want to have the separate axis in the first coordinate system, I can just go ahead and delete this item, and then both of those datasets are now on the same axis. I can also add elements here real quick. So by just adding elements or clicking on this little icon and then add elements, I can very simply change the appearance of this curve window very, very quick and anytime. All right. So now we are able to show our data in the curve window, and as I said, there are way more properties that we could change here, from the simple curve window to 3D representation and things like that.